Hey, hey, hey. I get a cigarette lit here and exercise my lungs. Um, well, if I did shows, which I don't do shows. But if I did shows, I think this one might be able to say this is a really, really big shoe. Some of you may not remember Ed Sullivan, but um, and nobody here. I got one person here. So yesterday, when I went live, I had scheduled in advance, and in order now YouTube will let you schedule an hour, 2 hours in the future. Rumble uh, puts you into the next day, and so I decided to go for 12:05 a.m. because that's Q. 12 and 5 is 17. That's also when my lighting, my motion sensor lighting, the override to stay on will click off just before then. So 12:05. So I just lit up. What 5:48, 5:48, right on cue. Um, and then, like I say, some of the lights, the motion sensors that are on override will shut down and be dark and ready for motion. And so I override them again. So um, I've been very steady, very steady um, at this for a couple years, communicating with the military, and we got a com from the military today at 4:49. So it was 4:48 ish, and I decided to let a little heat out. This wood stove here puts out a lot of heat, and I decided to let some heat out. And I have a 1x3 uh, um, fastened to the brick mold up high, and so that gives me something to hang on to. I can reach up and hang on to that, stretch my back. So that's what I was doing. I was letting some of the heat out, stretching my back, and all of a sudden, here comes a jet, right, coming right straight over my head, down low. So I said, okay, grab the phone, right, get the phone quick as I can. Um, by the time I got back out there, he'd already passed over my head. And so I got the phone to video and captured it. And then I hit pause so I could go check the time. It was 4:50. That bird was right on cue at 4:49. 4 and 4 is 8, and 9 is 17. So um, yesterday, this counter showed me I had one view through the entire talk. And when I ended it, Rumble said 12 views. Rumble said 12 views. So um, uh, I know I can't rely on this counter here. So most of y'all catch my talks um, after they're finished. You do the replay rather than catching the live, and so I expect that's going to be the case here. Now, I've been talking a lot about the courts. I've been talking a lot about flag law. Um, I have I've touched on Q. I've more than touched on Q. The Q board, the Q comms, the Q tards. Um, and and I've touched on Russell, Postmaster General of the world, flag law. I've been studying, studying, studying. Now, there's a lot of people that have no idea about Q or the Q board. There's people that know about the Q board that dismiss it out of hand. Um, there are very few people know about Russell. Probably less people know about Russell and the Title IV flag than know about Q. And so I'm going to I'm going to tie some things together for you. Now, Russell um, spoke on the Postmasters Basics channel last night. And by the time I saw the notification, Russell had just finished speaking. Um, so I waited till they posted the talk, the Friday night talk. And so this morning I listened to it, and I got to listen to Russell. And wow, he said a lot. He said a lot. And so I'm going to play. I'm going to play it for you straight through. I think it's a little over 12 minutes. Now, the way they have it set up over on the Postmasters Basics is to play at 1.5 times speed. And so today I learned that that I can change that after I listen to it two times or 3 times at time and a half. I learned that I can slow it down to regular speed or speed it up to 2 times, even 3 times, I think. So at any rate, I have it all queued up here, ready to play for you all. And now Russell says a lot. It may not sound like much, but he says a lot. And and for those who know nothing about Russell or his work, um, you're the ones that are going to have the most difficult time to comprehend um, what he's saying because you have no background on what he has done. Um, and so I decided that I would let the thing play all the way through and then play it again. Except this time, I'll have my finger on the stop start button. So, so that I can explain for you what at least what I think is being said. That what is what is the meaning? What is the truth? What is the fact in these vibrations coming your way? Um, so let's see. We got 3 people here now. So it says, welcome, welcome. All right, so we got about 12 minutes of Russell. I got the Bluetooth speaker hooked up here to this phone. See, what time does this sound? Did I mark the time? I did not. Oh, yeah. Oh, 22:44. So it's almost 14 minutes. All right, almost 14 minutes. And hopefully this sound quality is volume is right. It's not too loud, not too quiet. And so here we go. Here we go. Postmaster General of our world, Russell J. Gould, period.
About that, but let's try it again. Hey, Chief.
Hey, can they hear me now?
I don't know. Let's get a thumbs up. Yeah, they can hear you loud and clear. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm just going to talk about some of the things that I'm seeing within the venue. One of the things that I'm seeing is when people are using their quantum writing skills, they're putting colons in front of prepositional phrases. So we never put a colon in front of a prepositional phrase, so that needs to be cleaned up as people engage in shorthand and quantum grammar writing. We don't use colons in front of prepositional phrases. And the other thing that has come to my attention was we use is and are as verbs, is as singular, are as plural, and we do use am as a first person specific. That's only if we're talking to ourselves, if no one else is in the room. Say you're in a foreign courtroom and you're speaking to yourself in a first person specific, because none of them exist since the birth certificate system ended in 1999 here in the former United States of America. So in that circumstance, you speak to yourself in a first person specific using am as the verb, am. So I wanted to bring closure to that. And the other thing that was brought to my attention is someone said that they were going to go file at the Supreme Court. Well, the Supreme Court's closed. The U.S. judicial system shut down. And so it's a harvest mechanism for the slaves right now. So have to keep the slaves involved in their fiction court systems, and that's what keeps people, kind of on the tit, so to speak. And the U.S. judicial system is closed, so there's no need to file at the U.S. Supreme Court. And if you did file at the U.S. Supreme Court because you would come in under a writ of certiorari, which is a pronoun adverb verb, says nothing. I have not taught the secrets on how to open up the Supreme Court. Those are Supreme Court judge and World Court judge secrets, and I just don't give those out of honor to the function of being a Supreme Court judge. So I don't give those techniques out to the general public. So do not file at the U.S. Supreme Court, because that is a waste of total time with the U.S. judicial system being closed. So with that in mind, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that we're seeing out here in the general public. We're seeing a lot of infighting between podcasters and all these false narratives that keep getting bombarded into our heads over and over and over again to create subjective interpretation for subject matter arguments. Somebody killed somebody said somebody else did it, all nonsense. Don't focus on what the podcasters are saying, focus on what you're doing for yourself. And I myself am learning how to turn off all the podcasters as well. That is a waste of time. They are only clogging up the airways with what the U.S. Psychological Warfare Department allows them, or the CIA allows them to put on the airways. They're not going to put facts on the airways. There's not going to be any truth on the airways. So turn most of that nonsense off. And I am doing a way better job at doing that. But I'm taking a lot more time for myself. So it's a little bit better circumstance. I feel a lot more balanced knowing that I'm not being programmed by all these rumors of wars and all this nonsense that's going on out here. So don't really have a lot to say today. Is there any questions?
Someone would like to know a sample of using am, as you said.
Okay. For the postmaster, Russell J. Gould knowledge of this foreign market trade port. Am, with the speaking of myself, with the first person specific, with the public dialogues in this foreign market trade port, with the time of the life, with the publications and performances by the postmaster, Russell J. Gould knowledge. So right there, I'm speaking to myself in a first person specific because I'm the only one with the claim of the life in the courtroom. No one exists because the birth certificate system ended in 1999. So there's nobody there.
So you replace am with it is with am?
Yeah, you replace is with am as a first person specific. Because you're speaking to about yourself in a first person specific. You're not speaking yourself from third person.
Yeah.
Witnessing.
You guys, this guy saved the world, and all we can ask him is about an AM question. I'm a little disappointed that we don't have more questions in the chat, but I know this was on the fly. So we have been putting out videos and with some of the sound bites from your stuff. I know it's a big piece to chew, but I was watching an old Nick Yaya video with you and him, and he had asked you some questions on what are the consequences of what you've done mean for the world.
The consequences is all the bad guys use my technology to enslave all mankind. That way, when you sue corporations and you sue in court systems, that you have no remedy because they're using the grammar to hide behind, but they're not telling the general public. This is a one percenter program that Dave would tell you. Dave was very honest with the general public when you watch his videos. My ex-business partner, David Hyperwin-Miller, he'd tell you, I'm here to educate the top 1% of the 1%. He meant it, right? This is not for the general public. General public can't read and write. They have to stay dumbed down and stupid. So this is a 1%er program. Unfortunately, the general public wants to remain illiterate. And so the benefits, if you're running the world in fiction, is you can do whatever you want, not be accountable for anything that you do, and not be held accountable because you're not saying anything. And the flip side, they're sitting on the back end with their claims to the life from Dave. So
they're not valid, though, really, because
they're not valid. They know that, but like they said they're going to kill everybody first and then break out the quantum grammar. So it's unfortunate.
Well, the good news is that the postmasters within the venue with the Claim of the Life for theclaimofthelife.com, nice little plug there.
Yeah,
they are part of the 1% now.
Yeah, they're kicking butt. In fact, we're seeing the people that I'm directly involved with, they are being very successful because they're figuring out that there's nothing there. Number one, there's no such thing as fiction. There's no such thing as a president or a governor. These are all nonsensical concepts that are just outdated. It's so what would be the word? It's just not relevant. None of these governments, none of these concepts are relevant. Everything is about your capacity to communicate. And if you don't have facts as the facts, you leave yourself very vulnerable to those people that have the technology who use this to screw the people of the world over and not be accountable for anything that they don't have to be accountable for anything they do because the general public's not using any facts to stop them. But those students within the venue who are using their grammar correct and not going off half-cocked and doing too crazy ideas, being quite successful as long as they're staying within the bully system. Then some of the situations are very difficult because of the usuries that they were caught up in prior learning the grammar. And the toughest ones to win are the kids' cases because it's such a theft. So, with the human trafficking by the governments.
Yeah.
Sad.
So one of the questions I asked the AI chatbot, what ChatGPT, was about subjective interpretation. And it was kind of like, well, that's what courts do. They take something and make it, make a judgment out of it, or they define, like they come up with an interpretation, or that's what judges do, or that's what the Supreme Court does. Can you explain how or not that is not what's really happening?
Well, that is what's happening, because when you go into a courtroom, you're going into a foreign vessel and dry dock, there's the yellow fringe flag, which comes back to the law of flag. So the flag sets the terms of contract. When you put yellow fringe on the flag, you desecrate the flag unless you're in a military parade. That's different. Or military court-martialing. That's different. But when they put the objects on the flag, it means that they don't have, it's make believe. You're in a make believe situation where they can make anything up as they go. So they use the grammar because they know the certification on the facts from what we did back in the late 1990s and the early 2000s when we were dealing with the court systems. They surrendered their courts to us and let us put the mathematical interface on file in the middle of the courtrooms. The federal judges would, and state judges. And of course, everybody would laugh until the judge would stand up and say, "Silence, this is correct. This is called quantum speak." As we were at the time, I was speaking in only prepositional phrase dialogue in the courtroom. So of course, everybody would laugh at me, but I stand alone, and I'm fine with standing all by myself. I trust myself to do correct things when no one's looking. And if they ever release the videos of those court trials, you will see that the certification of grammar has been authenticated. They know it very well. They know they don't have to comply with anybody in fiction because it doesn't say anything. They're not saying anything. And they don't even have a claim to life to begin to state a claim because the birth certificate system ended in 1999. So when we took the flag in 1999, we took the ability of another entity to take the flag to set up a foundation to state a claim. That's why none of these patriot groups can state a claim because they don't have a flag. So it is quite humorous to try to watch and steal content. But you got to remember, these are all coming from the podcaster world, and that happened well after everything started taking over.
So they can't admit that they have to define things. They can only pretend like it's a judge that has to create the definition, or
yeah, what they do is the attorneys all get paid, and so everybody's making money except for the victims, which are the citizens that are getting harvested. This is the harvest.
Yeah.
Harvest suckers. This is what we do. We if no one's talking, everyone's walking, and so we bring the suckers. They dumb them down. They take them to their educational departments when they bring up through schooling. The Federal Bureau of Prisons pays on the warehousing, the Department of Education, the teacher's pension. So it's job security because the teachers dumbed down the people before they could get there. So it's a real dirty world that they've engaged in, for sure.
Yeah, and it just keeps getting worse too with this false flag in Australia, and they're trying to go for a second round on the guns there. Or the
guns aren't the problem. The guns aren't the problem. The problem is that the theology has brainwashed mankind to hate each other through false grammar faith concepts, which has caused hatred for generations. And so you're fighting, the gun is not the killer. The killer is the thinking behind. That is what's not being identified here as the problem. And so it's fake religions that have spun spirits of condition up within people's bodies, and they actually believe they're fake religions. They actually believe this nonsense, this babble. And so people are being tricked into thinking that different cultures and different societies hate them through the fake paradigm of the religions that they've unleashed through.
Lost you. Are you there?
Okay.
I was just going to say while we get him back, because I'm not sure where he went. So the call failed, of course. Welcome to our world, guys.
All right. So I will have to reset this now to the 9-minute mark. And yeah, I better put my eyeballs on. I hope the audio was good enough for you all. I hope the audio was jumping Jiminy's. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll turn the sound down and let it play for about 2 minutes. As long as I catch it, will be it. This is a very hard or difficult control on the time for the recording. So right now it's at 7 minutes and 30 seconds, and it's playing on silent. I'm gonna take a look at the live chat and see who's here. Amanda Hoppy. Amanda Hoppy, welcome. I want to read what she has to say here. She says a lot. I don't want to get distracted. I'll come back to the live chat. Anybody has any questions or comments? Go ahead and put it in the chat. It should work for Rumble or for YouTube. All right. So, where am I now? Oh, all right. I'm getting real close. We're at 8 minutes and 50 seconds. So I'll have this ready to go here in 2, 1, 0. All right. Now I go ahead and turn the volume back up on that. All right. Now that is ready to go to be replayed. I'm going to replay it, but this time I'm going to stop it and start it and stop it and start it. And so you got to listen to the whole, whatever that was, 12 plus minutes of Russell, uninterrupted. Russell and Rachel. All right, so I'll explain a few things for you. Where do I want to start? Some important things to know if you care and if you want to know. If you want to know. So flag law is something that Russell mentioned in his talk. Flag law. So learning flag law can really help you. You get that in your head, you got something. You really got something. And he has done so much. I would almost want to be scripted to try and tell you what he's done. But he has a YouTube channel. So I think in the comments is where I'll do it. I think in the comments is where I will post a link to Russell's YouTube channel. I will post a link to Russell's Telegram channel where only he posts or his people. But there's no sign that there's anybody doing anything other than Russell. And there's no way to comment or drop post or anything on that channel. The only action tween is to click on an emoji that would be related to the post on Russell's Telegram channel. All right, then there's the Postmasters Basics. Postmasters Basics Telegram channel, which is where you can find that recording that we just listened to. Or that we listened to only a few moments ago. We've done more than just listen. We've been thinking, we've been looking, right? I mean, that word just is just. It's a limiting, very limiting word. And when you want to live in your power and as a creator, creating your life, creating your world, I don't want those kind of limiting words, that Babylonian bullshit in my in my talk. So um, um, okay. And then there's the Postmasters Basics, which is open to the public to peruse through. Everything that's posted in there, the public can peruse through it. You do not need to be a postmaster. You do not need to be a postmaster in contract with the Postmaster General of the world. Anyone can access that channel. However, anything that's posted there, you shouldn't be forwarding. No sharing. No. So sometimes if there's a meme there, I'll maybe I'll take a picture and then crop it so it looks like the meme, and then use it. And but there's no, you're not supposed to be sharing, forwarding the post on that channel, but the public can access it. So that's what I did, and I shared it with you, and I'm going to share it again, but I'm going to be stopping and starting as we go through it. So now Russell can be found in other places. If I haven't done it and it's on your mind as I'm getting ready to close out, put it in a live chat. I'll check, but I can get over to Rusty's Telegram channel and I can tell you about I don't know, maybe I think LinkedIn and several others. But Telegram and YouTube, YouTube for his videos, Telegram for his two main channels. So lastflagstanding.com. Last Flag Standing is pretty much a documentary video. Lastflagstanding.com is I don't want to say website. I'm not sure what it is. It's an internet link. Piercingdynasty.com. Again, the video is a documentary. Warcastles.com. And Russell has a long history. And you heard him say how they laugh at him in the court. But did you hear him say the judge stood up and told everybody to shut the fuck up. If you didn't, hopefully I don't miss it on the way through. Actually, my head was spinning and my mind was spinning as I was listening to that talk, and I don't recall hearing those words as I only listened to this with you moments ago. But I recall it from the previous times that I listened. So I listened to that talk like that might be the fourth. That's the fourth or fifth time that I have listened to the talk, and he says so much. And now the first couple of times I listened to it on time and a half speed, which was too much. So, all right, we'll get into it here. I think I got the volume up. We're gonna go ahead and get started.
Not sure about that, but let's try it again. Hey, Chief.
Hey, can they hear me now?
I don't know. Let's get a thumbs up. Yeah, they can hear you loud and clear. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm just going to talk about some of the things that I'm seeing within the venue. One of the things that I'm seeing is when people are using their quantum writing skills, they're putting colons in front of prepositional phrases. So we never put a colon in front of a prepositional phrase, so that needs to be cleaned up as people engage in shorthand and quantum grammar writing. We don't.
Pause. Okay. Do. I want to go to. No, not here. Here. I asked what is a prepositional phrase, and the search assistant in DuckDuckGo gave me this for a response. A prepositional phrase is a group of words that begins with a preposition and ends with a noun, pronoun, or noun phrase, which serves as the object of the preposition. These phrases often provide additional information about time, location, or direction in a sentence. All right, so there's your babble. There's your babble on what is a prepositional phrase. Now, that was one of my worst subjects: reading, writing, spelling, punctuation, and I was tortured with it. I was mentally tortured with it, which really, I mean, at a very young age, which really drove me away from it. And school moved way too slow. So my mind is creating, my mind is living while I have fucking teachers dumbing everybody down, and so it's real easy to catch up in those subjects, and then get her done right when it's test time. But get a D, get a D minus, right? So you can slip on to the next grade. But you get into algebra, geometry, trigonometry. You can't fall asleep and then catch up. So, anyways, prepositional phrase. This is not the first time I have heard Russell talking to the postmasters that are in study and doing work, that they have that problem. of using a colon in front of a prepositional phrase. So Russell is primarily talking to the postmasters, but he also knows he's speaking to the public for those that are interested to listen. So, whoa, Butterfingers, Butterfingers. All right, all right. So, Rachel is the one who hosts the Postmasters Basics live chat. It's generally on Friday, but if there's a change, they announce it in the channel. Sometimes they'll say live chat on the morrow. At any rate, Russell says a lot here, and my head is spinning because of a lot of things, but particular with this, there's points that I want to make clear to the best of my ability. All right, so here we go. A little bit more of Rusty.
Use colons in front of prepositional phrases. And the other thing that has come to my attention was we use is and are as verbs, is singular, are as plural, and we do use am as a first person specific. That's only if we're talking to ourselves, if no one else is in the room. So you're in a foreign courtroom and you're speaking to yourself in a first person specific, because none of them exist since the birth certificate system ended in 1999 here in the former United States of America. So,
all right. So what he's saying there, he's saying that is pure fiction. Those courts that are docked, those Admiralty Maritime foreign courts. You listen, you'll hear him say foreign courts, docked. You're going to hear him say it. But what he's telling you here is that when he's in that position, I'm babbling at you, okay? My whole life has been babble. My mind is wired to communicate in babble. So I'm going to do my best to use the most effective babble that I can muster, so that you can comprehend this. I try and keep it stupidly simple so that us dumbed down, toxified MK Ultra can own it. So we can own it. So what he's telling you, when he's in that position, he's in that courtroom. They've dragged him in there, right? The policy officers have kidnapped him, physically overpowered him, kidnapped him, moved him into what they call custody, and then move you into that fiction court. He says there's nobody there to talk with. There's nobody there to talk to. And so you're going to talk to yourself. Because you're the only one there to talk with. You're the only one there to talk with. So that's what he's saying. It's all fiction. He gives it a zero, a void, right? That's what he said. So you take the position that is void. However, that is in a jurisdiction of law. That's in a jurisdiction of law. In reality, these are parasites. These are road pirates. These are invaders. These are infiltrators. These are warmongering fucks. So it's dangerous. It's very, very fucking dangerous. All right. So let's listen to a little bit more. See what Russell's telling us.
In that circumstance, you speak to yourself in a first person specific using am as the verb, am. So I wanted to bring closure to that. And the other thing that was brought to my attention is someone said that they were going to go file at the Supreme Court. Well, the Supreme Court's closed. The U.S. judicial system shut down. And so it's a harvest mechanism for the slaves right now. So have to keep the slaves involved in their fiction court systems, and that's what keeps people, kind of on the tit, so to speak. And
all right. So what did he just tell you? The U.S. judicial system is shut down. It's shut down. Well, you ask, shut down by who? Shut down by what? Well, I think I know the answer. I do. I think I know the answer. Russell captured the flag. Russell and David-Wynn Miller. They both captured the flag in 1999. And if you study Russell, you'll hear him talk about his trip to the Pentagon and how he questioned the Pentagon. Did they have any claim? Did they have any process? And the Pentagon was clueless. Clueless. Yeah, go figure, huh? So, my head is spinning. I lost track. What the hell? I might want to try and back that up just a hair. See, 10:42. I'm gonna try and back this up 20 seconds. I can. Oh, this is so hard to do. Come on. 7:04, 8:22. I'm gonna get to about 10 minutes. Yeah, right back to 10:42 after all that. So we're gone. All right. Like I said, my head is spinning, and I brain farted. I really want to try and get back 20 more seconds. Don't give up. Don't give up, Ethan. You can do it. Maybe I can't. 8:40. 9:26. All right, 9:26. We'll just let it play.
Prepositional phrase, so that needs to be cleaned up as people engage in shorthand and quantum grammar writing. We don't use colons in front of prepositional phrases. And the
shorthand and quantum grammar writing. That's the first time that's registered in my brain. Shorthand, and I don't know. That's first I've heard of shorthand quantum grammar.
Thing that has come to my attention was we use is and are as verbs, is is singular, are as plural, and we do use am as a first person specific. That's only if we're talking to ourselves, if no one else is in the room. Say you're in a foreign courtroom and you're speaking to yourself in a first person specific, because none of them exist. since the birth certificate system ended in 1999 here in the former United States of America. So in that circumstance, you speak to yourself in a first person specific using am as the verb, am. So I wanted to bring closure to that. And the other thing that that was brought to my attention is someone said that they were going to go file at the Supreme Court. Well, the Supreme Court.
Okay. Supreme Court is closed. Now, I've been telling you, you don't have a court in America for the people, for justice for the people. We do not have an American court here in America. And I say, other than the court that I gave America, the property, the land location, the GPS coordinates I gave to the American people. And I invited all the American people to be here. And I called the sheriff, undersheriff, judge, chief of police, county prosecutor, court clerk, and postmaster. That's the only court that I know that we, the people, have. So the United States judicial system is closed. And how do I know? Russell and Dave captured the flag. Russell and Dave captured the flag. He who owns the flag sets the rules. You heard him say why none of the, I think he said assembly, but maybe he said patriot groups or whatever. But, can't get anything done is they don't have a flag. They don't have a flag. So you comprehend flag law. Flag law has everything to do with jurisdiction. And all your courts in America, your county courts, your circuit and district county courts, your city courts, your federal courts, all with bar agents, British accredited registry, have their foreign vessels docked on the land, and they are warring on us. That really is a war theater. That is a war theater. These are crimes against humanity. I don't like the word human and humanity and whatever, but that's my deal. And it's because of the way it's been weaponized against us is the reason I don't like it. My coffee cup is about empty. I'm going to stand up here and get a little bit of coffee. Oh, my coffee pot's about empty too. Oh, this will make do here for a little while. All right, so all courts are ordered closed. All U.S. courts are ordered closed. It's all fiction. So this is why, Russell's journey began where he did not have a claim of the life, I think. He did not have a claim of the life, didn't have the knowledge of quantum grammar that he has today. And he suffered greatly greatly. It was quite a story. Months with no food. I even think months with no clothes, but don't quote me on that. So over time, his dealings with the courts changed. And he explains that he explains a major point in this talk that we're listening to, and you're going to get to hear it for a second time in case you didn't catch it the first time. When he's talking about in the court and he's talking to Quantum Grammar and they're laughing at him, it's in that segment, and it's real brief, where he says something to the effect that the judge stands up and says, "Be quiet. This is real shit." I'm paraphrasing. All right, so all right, back to it. Here we go.
Closed, the U.S. judicial system shut down. And so it's a harvest mechanism for the slaves right now. So have to keep the slaves involved in their fiction court systems, and that's what keeps people, kind of on the tit, so to speak. And the U.S. judicial system is closed, so there's no need to file at the U.S. Supreme Court. And if you did file at the U.S. Supreme Court, because you would come in under a writ of certiorari, which is a pronoun adverb verb, says nothing. I have not taught the secrets on how to open up the Supreme Court. Those are Supreme Court judge and world court judge secrets, and I just don't give those out of honor to the function of being a Supreme Court judge. So I don't give those techniques out to the general public. So do not file at the U.S. Supreme Court, because that is a waste of total time with the U.S. judicial system being closed. So with that in mind, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that we're seeing out here in the general public. We're seeing a lot of infighting between podcasters and all these false narratives that keep getting bombarded into our heads over and over and over again to create subject of interpretation for subject matter arguments. Somebody killed somebody said somebody else did it, all nonsense. Don't focus on what the podcasters are saying, focus on what you're doing for yourself. And I myself am learning how to turn off all the podcasters as well. That is a waste of time. They are only clogging up the airways with what the U.S. Psychological Warfare Department allows them, or the CIA allows them to put on the airways.
All right. What you're hearing is only what's being allowed by FORPOG. That's it. Yeah, you're getting fed what they will allow. And you're not getting the truth. You're not getting the truth. You're getting a story. So now this leads right into the Q board. And for anybody that is interested in beginning with Q on Rumble, maybe on YouTube as well, I don't know, but Rumble for sure, search Q for Dummies. Q for Dummies. That's a great place to get started. And then some of the guys that are really killing it is Dave with News Treason on Rumble, Rambo and Friends on Rumble, Absolute Storm on Rumble, and there's some leading channels on Rumble, and they are top tier Q-tards. Top tier Q-tards. And quite amazing. And so the Q board drops are primarily questions it's primarily questions to get you thinking, or it'll be a couple word sentence, and then however, anyways, this, that, and the other, and it's really tied to questioning. It's to get you to think and start asking questions, and then there's a lot of really direct communications once you start to comprehend military psychological operations and coding and decoding. And so the Q-tards have spent thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of hours individually in their research and their work. And so Q says you're watching a movie. You're watching a movie. Q says, I think 3 movies playing at the same time. So this really ties in with what Russell is saying. Everything you're watching is a fucking show. Everything you're watching is a show. So why are you watching a show? Why are you watching a show? And I gotta wet my pipes. You're watching a show. This is my thinking. This is my current thinking. Okay, it's not this. I didn't say I believe, because I don't believe, and I don't not believe. I either know or I don't know, and I really don't know. But there is plenty of things to look at, to think about, and to help you put the puzzle together so that you have a clear picture. So the reason that we're watching 3 movies playing out at the same time is because of the generational brainwashing and other weaponization like the emasculation of men, the division that has been created in every fucking way possible. There's it seems as though there's a reason for division no matter what you do, who you engage with. In other words, you could be in line with this, in line with that, everything's good vibrations between you. And then all of a sudden, that's not a good vibration. Oh no, right? And then the people, the generations after the boomers have really been indoctrinated without critical thinking and with response without having a critical thought first, and ego and emotion. So we've been lied to about everything, and the people do a lot of believing. The people have a lot of faith, but the people have like almost no true knowledge. That we have all been so dumbed down, lied to, that there is a what appears to me quite obvious to me that there is a psychological operation to reverse that damage. And this is why we have the disclosure that we have. This is why the news cycles are the way they are. This is why what you're hearing through your podcasters and your alternative media is what you're hearing, is to get us out of that slave state of mind. And so if you listen carefully to what Russell is saying here, the power that you have when you comprehend that the fiction is void, it has no standing, it has no jurisdiction. And he talks here about how some of the postmasters are having great success. And he also tempers it and says, as long as they don't push too far, too hard in the wrong area. Now, I'm paraphrasing, I'm saying it different, but I have been observant, and I have been around, and I know some of the postmasters, they're like, they'll stop paying their electric bill because they know it's already paid and they're double paying. And they send the paperwork, and then their electricity gets shut off, right? Or their water, or this or that, or blah, 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 blah. But there are success stories. There are success stories. And Russell travels without a license, without a license plate, without registration, because it's all fiction. All right, so let's get back to Russell.
I'm not going to put facts on the airways. There's not going to be any truth on the airways. So turn most of that nonsense off. And I am doing a way better job at doing that. But I'm taking a lot more time for myself. So it's a little bit better circumstance. I feel a lot more balanced, knowing that I'm not being programmed by all these rumors of wars and all this nonsense that's going on out here. So don't really have a lot to say today. Is there any questions?
Someone would like to know a sample of using AM, as you said.
Okay. For the Postmaster Russell-J. Gould knowledge of this foreign market trade port. With the speaking of myself with the first person specific, with the public dialogues in this foreign market trade port, with
in this foreign trade port. Now he's talking to himself. He's talking to himself because in a now time, now space quantum, there is fact and fiction cannot meet. Fact and fiction cannot meet. All right, continue.
The time of the life with the publications and performances by the Postmaster, Russell-J. Gould knowledge. So right there, I'm speaking to myself in a first person specific because I'm the only one with the claim of the life in the courtroom. No one exists because the birth certificate system ended in 1999. So there's nobody there.
So you replaced am with is with am?
Yeah, you replace is with am as a first person specific. Because you're speaking to about yourself in a first person specific. You're not speaking yourself from third person
Yeah.
witnessing.
You guys, this guy saved the world, and all we can ask him is about an AM question. I'm a little just.
All right. Rachel. Fuck yeah. She says, this guy saved the world. And, well, time will tell. Time will tell. I have found nothing that discredits Russell. Nothing. And for you to learn, you got to pay attention to War Castles, Piercing Dynasty, Last Flag Standing, and a lot of other content that he's put out to begin to comprehend what he has done. And so, if I got my date right, in 2003, he went, the Navy entered into contract with Russell for use of the Title IV flag. I think that makes him commander. And Russell filed a corporation in the now time, now space, quantum realm. And I think it's something to the effect of Unity States Corporation. And I may not have gotten that completely right, but most of it. And I don't know what that means, because there's a lot of states. Australia, nation state, right? Greenland, nation state. Mexico, nation state. Canada, nation state. So I really don't know what that means. We're all wired that it means, the red, white, and blue, America and its territories. But I'm thinking that it could be much different, and so I don't know. All right, back to Russell.
That we don't have more questions in the chat, but I know this was on the fly. So there we have been putting out videos and with some of the sound bites from your stuff. I know it's a big piece to chew, but I was watching an old Nick Yaya video with you and him, and he had asked you some questions.
Nick Yayu, or something like that. I've never heard of this guy. I'd be interested to see that video or that talk. And so if anybody knows about that, you can get it to me by putting it in the comments of one of the videos, or a direct, on Telegram. That would be cool. All right, back to Russell.
On what are the consequences of what you've done mean for the world?
The consequences is all the bad guys use my technology to enslave all mankind. That way, when you sue corporations and you sue in court systems, that you have no remedy, because they're using the grammar to hide behind, but they're not telling the general public. This is a 1%er program that Dave would tell you. Dave was very honest with the general public when you watch his videos. My ex-business partner, David Hyperwinkle, he'll tell you, I'm here to educate the top 1% of the 1%. He meant it, right? This is not for the general public. General public can't read and write. They have to stay dumbed down and stupid. So this is a 1%.
All right. So Russell and David worked together for quite a while. But Russell says that David lost his mind at one point. David lost his mind. So Russell talks about what a genius David was, and the two of them working together created the quantum grammar. They were able to capture the Title IV flag. Dave was using the quantum grammar and a claim of the life to teach the 1%. Russell talks about how David was working with Kamala Harris. Think about that. So what he's telling you is that because there's no accountability for any of these parasites that are warring on us, because everything's fiction in the legal, lawful sense, not in the physical reality sense. In the physical reality sense, it's dangerous, it's deadly, it's criminal, it's war crimes. They're not held accountable, and now they do eat their own. So if and Russell has posted about fiction eating fiction, and so they do eat their own. And but if fiction tried to eat Kamala Harris, well, she's got a claim of the life. Well, if you heard Rachel push back on that and say, but that's not valid, and Russell validates that their claim of the life is not valid, and they know it. So let's continue on.
The program, unfortunately, the general public wants to remain illiterate. And so.
All right. Unfortunately, the general public wants to remain illiterate. Now, I got to push back on that, Rusty. To a degree. There is a large part of the population that wants the knowledge. The thing is, they're too stupid to know where the knowledge is. They're too dumbed down to look in the right place. And when they do look in the right place and they say, this is Looney Tunes, when they're in the right spot, this is what's going on. So now I can tell you folks that on Russell's channel, I've talked about this multiple times. He calls Anna von Ritz out as a fraud, and he's got posts there, of her registered mail that doesn't exist. It's not in the system, but I threw Anna some shade because I have registered mail that's not in the system. I've got the 3806. I got the register receipt. I have the return card, and I have a picture of the mailer. So somebody wants to tell me that I'm a fraud on that. No, I have the original paperwork. So it should be very easy for Anna to go back to Russell and say, hey, this is defamation of character. This is a lie. This is bullshit. Here's my 3806. Here's my register receipt. Here's my return card. Here's an acknowledgement letter from the receiver, right? All these kind of things. But no, Anna can't do that. Anna hasn't done that. And then Russell and I probably got to paraphrase this. Maybe I get it right, but Anna should have continued her education. But you see, the evidence that additional evidence that Russell shows against Anna is her position with the Vatican. Her position with the Vatican. Oh, and Russell talks about the Vatican. Again, the second time through, that's not even registered in my mind, but I know that he did. He really says a lot in this. So David Windmiller is dead. David Windmiller was a genius. The outcome of the work that is in Russell's hands is in part due to David, and Russell gives him credit for that. But he also calls him out for being a dirtbag, right? Giving his technology to the 1%. Right. So all right, here we go. Back to Russell.
It's if you're running the world in fiction, is you can do whatever you want, not be accountable for anything that you do, and not be held accountable because you're not saying anything. And the flip side, they're sitting on the back end with their claims of the life from Dave. So
they're not valid, really, because
they're not valid. They know that, but like I said, they said they're going to kill everybody first, and then break out the quantum grammar. So it's unfortunate.
Well, the good news is that the postmasters within the venue with the claim of the life from fortheclaimofthelife.com, nice little plug there. Yep. They are part of the 1% now.
Yeah, they're kicking butt. In fact, we're seeing like the people that I'm directly involved with, they are being very successful because they're figuring out that there's nothing there. Number one, there's no such thing as fiction. There's no such thing as a president or a governor. These are all nonsensical concepts that are just outdated. It's so what would be the word? It's just not relevant. None of these governments, none of these concepts are relevant. Everything is about your capacity to communicate, and if you don't have.
And so everything is about your ability to capacitate. And if you don't exist, you have no capacity to communicate. And so what a conundrum. What a conundrum. All right, so the postmasters with a claim of the life with Russell are now part of the 1%. They're part of the 1%. And I've heard Russell talk a good deal about AI and AI programming. And Russell has been programming the AI. He's been programming the AI and he's been teaching the AI. Russell also says that the military has turned everything over to AI. And as we get a little further into the talk here, Russell's going to talk about in court and them laughing at him. And he's going to talk about how the quantum grammar mathematical language is recognized, and so this is recognized in the AI. And so Russell has been talking about to the postmasters about programming their life, learning how to deal with the AI, to program the AI so that they're in control. All right, back to Russell.
Access the facts, you leave yourself very vulnerable to those people that have the technology who use this to screw the people of the world over. and not be accountable for anything that they don't have to be accountable for anything they do because the general public's not using any facts to stop them. But those students within the venue who are using their grammar correct and not going off half-cocked and doing too crazy ideas, being quite successful as long as they're staying within the buoy system. Then some of the situations are very difficult because of the usuries that they were caught up in prior learning the grammar. And the toughest ones to win are the kids' cases because it's such a theft. So, with the human trafficking by the governments.
Yeah.
Human trafficking by the government is one of the most difficult things to deal with when you are a postmaster and you're using the quantum grammar to go against the beast. We cannot protect our women and our children. You do not have a motherfucking court. You got fucking rogue fiction bar courts, British courts, where they took an American flag and mutilated it. You got Sharia law courts. The Supreme Court is shut down. The former United States judicial system is shut down. But that doesn't stop the fucking warriors and road pirates and parasites from fucking slaving you, feeding off of you, stealing from you, poisoning you, torturing you. Because you do not have a fucking justice system. Back to Russell.
Sad.
So one of the questions I asked the chat AI chatbot, what ChatGPT, was about subjective interpretation, and it was kind of like, well, that's what courts do. They take something and make it, make a judgment out of it, or they define, like they come up with an interpretation, or that's what judges do, or that's what the Supreme Court does. Can you explain how or not that is not what's happening?
Well, that is what's happening, because when you go into a courtroom, you're going into a foreign vessel and dry dock, there's the yellow flag flag, which comes back to the law of the flag. So the flag sets the terms of contract. When you put yellow fringe on the flag, you desecrate the flag unless you're on a military parade. That's different.
Flag sets the terms of contract. And now he's talking about the yellow fringe on the flag, and he just said, unless a military parade. And I don't know, I think this thing's backing up a few seconds every time I put pause and then play, so maybe we'll hear that again. So I learned something. Here. A while back, maybe 2 years or more, I remember hearing Russell say, so the Navy has a parade flag, so what? As he was doing his Russell talk, which is, Russell has a very unique way of speaking. And shifting quickly as his words are flowing. So it was a very brief, and it didn't sit right with me. It didn't sit right with me. It has not sat right with me. And I've talked about how since 1871, everything is unlawful and illegal. And everything the government's done, everything the military has done is unlawful and illegal. For clarification, the government, federal, state, local, and the military, all branches, since 1871, illegal and unlawful. Not lawful. And then my study is that somewhere around 1877 is when the military first fringed the flag. Fringed the flag. So that's boxing the flag. Now, you're going to hear Russell say next about a military court. So the yellow fringed flag, apparently in the now space, realm, the yellow fringe on the Title IV flag is okay for a military parade, appropriate for military parade, and appropriate for courts martial. So I said appropriate, and then I said appropriate. Because I think appropriate is not, it means no appropriate. So at any rate, let's see what our Russell has to say here.
Or military court martialing, that's different. But when they put the objects on the flag, it means that they don't have, it's a make-believe. You're in a make-believe situation where they can make anything up as they go. So
Make-believe. Make anything up as they go. This is why you can never fucking win in those courts. You can never fucking win in those courts. Not when they are being predatory on you. So, all right, back to Russell.
they use the grammar because they know the certification on the facts from what we did back in the late 1990s and the early 2000s when we were dealing with the court systems. They surrendered their courts to us and let us put the mathematical interface on trial in the middle of the courtroom.
They surrendered the court to us and let us put the, what do you say, mathematical, whatever, on trial in the courtroom. And so this is, okay, keep listening, pay attention. And I'm going to provide you the links to the Postmaster's Basics where you'll find this, audio on the Postmaster's Basics channel. I'm going to put a link in to Russell's other Telegram channel, and I'll put a link into Russell's YouTube channel, in both YouTube and Rumble. All right, back to Russell.
The federal judges would, and state judges. And of course, everybody would laugh until the judge would stand up and say, "Silence! This is correct. This is called quantum speak."
Okay, right there. The judge stood up and said, "Silent," to all motherfuckers laughing at Russell. This is quantum speak. Shut the fuck up. Back to Russell.
Time I was speaking in only prepositional phrase dialogue in the courtroom, so of course everybody would laugh at me, but I stand alone and I'm fine with standing all by myself. I trust myself to do correct things when no one's looking. And if they ever release the videos of those court trials, you will see that the certification of grammar has been authenticated. They know it very well. You know they don't.
The certification of grammar has been authenticated and they know it. The certification of quantum grammar has been certified and they know it.
To comply with anybody in fiction because it doesn't say anything. They're not saying anything. And they don't even have a claim for life to begin to state a claim because the birth certificate system ended in 1999. So when we took the flag in 1999, we took the ability of another entity to take the flag to set up a foundation to state a claim. That's why none of these patriot groups could state a claim because.
All right, so Russell talked about I think at The Hague. I think it was at The Hague where the Hague court decided that Russell had a flag, but no country. And I'm a little foggy on. And so this is something, look, don't believe anything I say. I don't want you to believe in me because I don't believe. Believe in yourself. Believe in your ability to research, your ability to study, your ability to connect the dots, your ability to own your authority and do the right thing even when nobody's looking. All right, so Russell talks about his time at The Hague, and they so the quantum grammar is authenticated, certified. He has the flag, but they said you're basically in the ocean in a boat by yourself. Where is your country? And I think what Russell did was claim the court as his country. And I need a deeper explanation of that for me to critically think about it, comprehend it better than I do. So, like I said, I have been paying attention to Russell and his work. This is why I'm able to add these tidbits in, but I'm telling you, don't believe me. Do the research yourself. And I'm going to provide the links for you. And to this day, no one has discredited Russell on anything. On anything. Zip, zero, nada. They attack him. They attack him with their fucking emotions and their reactions and their false claims, but never discredit him with any facts. All right, back to Russell.
They don't have a flag. So it is quite humorous to try to watch and steal content. But you got to remember, these are all coming from the podcaster world, and that happened well after everything started to take over.
So they can't admit that they have to define things. They can only pretend like it's a judge that has to create the definition, or
yeah, what they do is they say the attorneys all get paid, and so everybody's making money except for the victims, which are the citizens that are getting harvested. This is the harvest.
Yeah.
Don't harvest suckers. This is what we do. We if no one's talking, everyone's walking, and so we bring the suckers. They dumb them down. They take them to their educational departments. When they bring up through schooling, the Federal Bureau of Prisons pays on the warehousing, the Department of Education, the teacher's pension.
The fucking prisons pay into the teachers' unions. So the teachers can dumb us down so we're easier to harvest. Back to Russ.
So it's job security because the teachers dumbed down the people before they could get there. So it's a real dirty world that they've engaged in, for sure.
Yeah, and it just keeps getting worse too with this false flag in Australia, and they're trying to go for a second round on the guns there. Or the
guns aren't the problem. The guns aren't the problem. The problem is that the theology has brainwashed mankind to hate each other through false grammar faith concepts. which has caused hatred for generations.
False theology concepts that have caused hatred for generations. Back to Russell.
And so you're fighting, the gun is not the killer. The killer is the thinking behind. That is what's not being identified here as the problem. And so it's fake religions that have spun spirits of condition up within people's bodies, and they actually believe they're fake religions. They actually believe this nonsense, this babble. And so people are being tricked into thinking that different cultures and different societies hate them through the fake paradigm of the religions that they've unleashed through.
Lost you.
All right, so that's where we lose him. That's where the call dropped, and so that's all we got from Russell. And now where that ended is one of the most sensitive areas for the people of faith. It's about 15 degrees outside, maybe colder Fahrenheit. And so I was starting to feel it. The wood stove's doing a good job. So there you go, folks. You have no court. You have no fucking court. You have enemy courts. And you get people, they want to go hire an attorney. They want to go hire the enemy. And so I've talked about how the assemblies are infiltrated. They have to be infiltrated. Otherwise, one of these big assemblies would get on the stick. And everybody would go get their claim of the life, and then boom, the people would come together and in a way that they cannot be stopped. They cannot be stopped. And so as it stands right now, the general population does not have access to quantum grammar teaching unless they pay the price, go through the steps, and pay the price to facilitate that contract with Russell for the claim of the life. And so there's a stack of reasons why there are very, very few doing it. And it is heavily suppressed. And I think because you're only hearing what FORPOG is going to allow you to hear. So Q talks about fifth generation psychological warfare. You have some podcasters that come from the military, or they claim they come from the military. And so that they bring some, I think, some good information forward with regards to the fiction. Because in a lawful legal sense, the fiction is void, has no standing, no jurisdiction, no authority. But in reality, their physical presence is very powerful, very evil, very dirty, very corrupt, very ugly, and very, very, very real. So it's dangerous. It's very, very, very fucking dangerous. And so Q says the military is the only way. Q says the military is the only way. And if you begin to comprehend the depth of the deep state, the stranglehold of the bar, remember, Judge Advocate General in the United States military is required to carry a bar card and be in good standing with the bar. Judge Advocate General must be in good standing with the bar and active and holding a card in order to be a Judge Advocate General. Now, where the fuck is military intelligence? Where is the fucking brains of the operation? Who fucking did that? These motherfuckers taking an oath to the bar and an oath to the fucking corporate constitution? Think about it. Judge Advocate General taking an oath to the irrelevant, fictitious, fraud Constitution of the former United States and taking an oath to the bar. Real fucking mess. All right. I'm going to wet my whistle here and I'm going to take a look at the live chat. Let's see. Wow, there's a lot here. I mean, there's a lot here. There is a lot here. Wow. I'm overwhelmed. Wow. Wow. I'm scrolling. I think I could make a whole show out of this chat, which I do not get the live replay. I'm bringing this closer. What does that do to the camera? That's not too bad. All right, so this is what you get to look at. Maybe I'll go through and read this because you don't get the live replay. Those of you who are here, you can read this on your own. So anyways, Amanda says, holy shit, caught you live. How's it going today with the wind and drifting? Hasn't been too bad. Says, I just texted Alice's Restaurant. Haven't listened to that song, old song, but incredible truth. Cool breeze. Hey, old buddy of mine bought an old farm on Cool Road. Yeah, it sounds like you're local and I think you wanted to get together for coffee. I'm good with that. And so my number is public, but I don't answer numbers that I don't know. So anybody wants to talk with me, 231-624-3037. But don't call me. Text me. Tell me who you are. And like Amanda, that's all you got to say is this is Amanda. But anybody else, tell me who you are and what you want to talk about. And then we'll go from there. right? So as long as I'm not right off the bat figuring you out to be a bot or an enemy, then I'll put you in. I'll send you a message back and put you in contacts. We'll go from there. Amanda goes on to say, you mentioned Kalkaska Police Department. I'm having some big wins investigating the whole system. Thanks for sharing your talents. Well, you're very welcome. All the policy departments are corrupt. Everyone, I got it. I would be surprised if there's one in America that is not. Amanda goes on, definitely they poked the wrong dogs, and I just got in the way of the distribution of poisonous products. Don't use Munson Medical Center. Billing department, probate judge will steal your savings account and bankrupt the insurance policy numbers. Fat girls doing the paperwork again and again. And then must not be live. Yeah, it's live. All right, what else? They give children ADHD medicine at school. I'm David. I'm using my daughter's tablet. Okay, David. You're David, but your handle is Amanda. Maybe you mean you're like David and Goliath. But I pay the bill. Mine crash. Wow, Amanda. I was raised Catholic, but stopped going to church in 1972, Cadillac, Michigan. My first dental appointment was performed. I threw my Bible in the dumpster when I was, I think, 17. I was 17. I threw my Bible in the dumpster, and I had some very hard talks with God, and I've had some quantum travel experiences, and I have been spiritual ever since, and not religious. Amanda says, I've got stickers, laugh out loud, do not disturb me. Am I pissed hat? I don't know. TNRE, economic recovery, gross negligence of the law. What's the emergency? Just got pulled over yesterday by state police department. Am I free to go or not? Turkey or ticket time of year. Hearsay, hearsay. They both paid the price of admission. I'd like the court to record judicial system is foolish. Bobblehead judge. First thing I say is I might be taking advantage of incapacitated individuals. The judge agrees with me every time. Yeah, you see, you're in the enemy court. And according to Russell, you shouldn't be talking to him. That was a mouthful of coffee grounds. I'm going to step away. Turn the camera. Let's see. I'm going to take that down. I'll turn the camera. I got to go over here and get some water. Maybe I'll grab a couple things while I'm over here for some more conversation. I wanted a treat. I really don't do carbohydrates, and I quit buying ice cream years ago. I don't buy pop. I I intermittent fast. I eat pretty much once a day or within a 6 hour window. And yesterday I finished a 48-hour fast, and I've had a jar of natural peanut butter sitting up in the cupboard for years. And I decided I wanted to make some peanut butter cookies. And I did. Does that look good? It's pretty good. And hmm, I'll put that down. Yeah, that is good. Um, mm. All right, so I was reading the chat. So yeah, you don't want to be talking to those. You don't want to be talking to those judges. Somehow this moved out of place. Man, there's a lot here. There's a lot here. Richard's in here, Thrillbilly's in here. So I want to get back to where I was with Amanda. Wow, man, there's a lot here. I'm not used to this. Wow, wow, wow. I am scrolling and scrolling. I'm still not back to where I was. Okay. Catholic school was always better than the general public, says Amanda. I've got stickers. Do not. Oh yeah, I read that. I read that. I read that. Yeah, it says I'd like the court record. No, you don't want the court record. You want fucking ropes for the motherfuckers. You want justice. You need a justice system to get rid of these courts that are warring on us. Judge Carmen agreed with me. Second floor federal building, same page as David. I don't know what that means, really. Those courts are closed. Those judges are rogue. I always wear rubber gloves for court. You don't have a court. Don't wear a belt. Richard Droland says, your government, your courts have Dun and Bradstreet numbers. That's right. But they're not. They're not our government. They're not our courts. Our government has been usurped. We don't have a government. We have enemies, infiltrators that are warring on us. I've seen some terrible shit happen. Thanks for babbling, Amanda says. The Boy Scouts. Yeah, my brother was in the Boy Scouts. That was not good. Pedophile, scoutmaster. Richard said, your judges are not actually judges, they're administrators, and they operate the courts under Administrative Procedures Act. Yeah, and in it's all fiction. That's what I keep telling you. You don't have a court. You do not have a fucking court, period. This is war. And everyone has been deceived. Everyone has been lied to. The Act of 1871 changed the government. engagement action, FDIC. The only absolute right of a U.S. citizen is to reside in the United States. See court case versus Valentine. All fiction, all fraud, all of it. Credit thrift, hospitality action, hotel or motel, get paid anyways. 19 days in a drunk tank. Richard says under admiralty law, which that's what the courts are doing, you countersue for failure of cure and no, wrong. Wrong. They are fucking closed. They're the enemy. Why don't you go to fucking Germany? Huh? Why don't you go to a German court? Why don't you go to a Russian court? Why don't you go to a fucking Canadian court? Why don't you fucking get together with the people and have a court for Americans to deal with these fucking courts that don't belong there, that you want to tell the people how to fucking act in? Kiss my ass. Amanda, 30 days in a stainless steel room, almost naked, used toilet paper for a pillow and wrapping my body for warmth. Fed poisonous products for, yes, it's fucking bullshit. Navigate through paperwork again. Yeah, they're Babylonian paperwork. Richard says they're running human trafficking because all the court cases are bonded. There's a form 24, 25, and 4mm 25A, a bid bond, a performance bond, and a payment bond, part of the funds from these. Yes, it's all fucking jacked up. It's all about the fucking money. It's all about taking advantage of you because they are warring on you. And we got to come up with another word for these Admiralty Maritime courts that are docked on the land. Like bullshit. Yeah, like bullshit. Like that's what it is. And we want justice, and we really need hemp growers making rope, in my opinion. Michigan is surrounded with water, says Amanda. Yep. Vacation property management system. Price just went up 20 times the value. Richard says all bank mortgages are complete fraud. You can go look. Yes, that's right. They are. It's all fucking fraud. Amanda says selling land contracts for 20% down. You need to buy your water, pay for passage. You can piss in the woods. Q is the Israel Mossad. Well, says Richard. That's his opinion. Elon Musk exposed ISP in Israel for the website of the Department of Homeland Security. Remember, you're only hearing what FORPOG is allowing you to hear, and they're allowing you to hear a lot of misinformation, a lot of disinformation, and a lot of fucking bullshit. Amanda says, I hear guns all day, Grayling training. Camp Grayling? You're that close to Camp Grayling, you hear them? Stop the expansion of government. Richard says, you can credit a public notice of registration for the public office of persons where you resign, terminate your position, you resign as trustee, you resign as security for all that capital letter name. It's you don't even fucking talk to it. Fact and fiction cannot meet. You get it notarized, make copies, send it to the State Department. Send it to the enemy. It's war. It's like being on the fucking beach at Normandy and all that shit's going on all around you. And you decide you're going to write a letter to Hitler. You're going to send some paperwork to Hitler. That's the fucking insanity of what you're fucking saying here, bro. Oh man, don't need a notary. Just take a picture and email it. Keep the evidence. keep the evidence. I say, you got a lot of these motherfuckers telling you, put it back in the mail, this, that, the other. I collected the evidence, and collected the evidence out of my mailbox. It did not open it. Had many counters with the Kalkaska Post Office. Many of them live on YouTube. And come February, my mailbox will have been locked for 2 years with signage that says, due to corrupt criminal activity, this location is closed. And there's more signage out there as well. Amanda says, I've tossed your paperwork into the trash barrel. Okay, good. It didn't happen on my watch, says Amanda. Get ready for a natural gas pipeline. I swear it's cheaper than free. Richard says, all the countries south of the border are part of OAS, which is Organization of American States. All the countries south of the border are part of the Organization of American States. Amanda says, paycheck to paycheck America, if you can even do that. Richard says, when you were born, they created a birth certificate with all capital letter name. That's the corporation that state gave you. Yep, that's right. And the birth certificate system ended in 1999. The republic is being restored as you speak. The state assembly seats are being filled. If you listen to Russell, he will tell you that's all fiction because they don't have a flag, and because they do not have quantum grammar. Amanda says sour gas. I don't know. Amanda says you got a social security number. Thrillbilly says, well. Thrillbilly says, what's up, brother? A lot of fuckery, eh, Thrillbilly? Richard says, you don't have to have social security number. You can get a religious exemption. Interesting. You can have a home birth. And then you avoid all that fuckery. Back in the day, as they say. Back in the day, I spent a lot of time in the pool halls, the bars with pool tables, with pool hustlers. I grew up around a pool table. I love pool. And I got to know some guys. One guy I got to know, his name is Kim. I won't say his last name. Kim never had a social security number. Never had a social security number. He was probably in his mid-30s when I knew him, and was married. Had like a 10-acre parcel, family, no social security number. Richard says there's a court case for October. A couple of months back, she sued the Department of State and got her DS-11 passport approved without having to supply a social security number. Again, courts are closed. It's all fiction. Everything you do in there is for harvesting. Man, this is so sad. People have to travel for entertainment. He said, she said, he was right. The check is in the mail. Richard says, AI will give you a general propaganda unless you box it in to give the facts and conclusions only. So there is more to AI than meets the eye. There's more to AI than meets the eye. It's over my head. I have a fair amount of knowledge in my head on different aspects of different AI systems, different AI ability, and the stuff that's at our disposal, the AI that is available to us. How do I want to explain it? Very limited. In a way, targeting. In a way, targeting. In a way, limited. So truly not a benevolent AI. So AI has a lot of errors. What is available to us is not state of the art by any stretch of the imagination. All right, back to the live chat. Thriller Billy says de facto / de jure court, Maritime Admiralty Tribunal, judge hold no license to practice law. There is no license to practice law. None. So show me the State Department or Department of State, the federal department or federal agency that issues a license to practice law. You can't, because it doesn't exist. That ought to tell you something right there. A bar card is a private member association card. A Walmart card is or a Costco card is a private member association card. Richard says all the AI nut jobs like Elon Musk and Peter Thiel on the Earth building under Trump's ballroom, a data center. Who knows what's going on? Misinformation, disinformation, lies. Thrillbilly says, yes, Four Corners rule via gold infringement Admiralty Tribunal. Thrillbilly, it's a fucking clearinghouse. They bifurcate and bifurcate, are named estate, creating bonds and securities, colorable. Thrillbilly says these courts only see the dead folks, the living not supposed to show. In the private, we use rule of post, Postmaster General. The problem is we're in Babel, and yeah, we I've been there, I've done that, and I've talked about how all of my cases are, well, not all of them, but many of them are in the hands of the military. And they all need to be concluded in military tribunals, which should be in a now time, now space, quantum reality. Billy says we use blue box letters, box outside the post office building. This is our most powerful court system on the lands. Amanda says, Wells Fargo Carriers Insurance Company, missing silver, ADHD medicine, free lunch program. Richard says, yeah, the 1871 Act, they talked about it in 1967. There's a congressional record on the 14th Amendment fraud. Everything since 1871 is forward regards to government and military is illegal and unlawful. All of it. Throughbilly says, we instruct Secretary of State to settle the matter outside the de jure court system. Living doesn't need to enter the ship's bar. This way we got put in 72-hour loony bin hold. We are not all caps. It fucking sucks. They put you in the cage. Richard says 1973, another congressional record of 470 complete violations of constitutional rights, and then gave again 1976. They confirmed, but they still have not made a decision. Look, it's all bullshit. This is what this talk is about. Is all this fucking shit is fucking bullshit, and it needs to be ignored. It has no standing, no jurisdiction, no authority, and the only thing that is coming across the airwaves, because it's all under control in a military operation, in my from my position. All right, that from my position, I might have said my opinion, but I don't like that word. My position, my current thinking is there is a global military operation and a fifth generation psychological warfare, and it's to undo all the brainwashing. So all this shit that's going on, you've got so many different sectors in America for me to rattle off here, let alone all around the world. And they all need to be deprogrammed. Deprogrammed and reprogrammed for truth, transparency, accountability, and justice. Throughbilly says, go look at all the curbside. You will find a round brass stamp says bona fide shoreline. They loophole law of water onto our soil. Amanda says, same shit, different day. Well, hopefully I'm bringing you some new shit today, giving you something new to think about. Throughbilly says, should not exist outside if Washington, D.C., period. No authority, no jurisdiction outside if D.C. Yet they taught different in educational systems. Yeah, they certainly did, didn't they? When the American Bar Association was formed, it was stated one of their primary objectives was setting the standards of the academic system, setting the standards for academics for Americans. There are 8th grade tests from the 1870s that the most intelligent people I know cannot pass. That's how fucking dumbed down we are. Thank you, bar agents. Richard says, yeah, we can get a court record of, the typist that types the court record of everything that's being said in the courtroom. Can we get a copy? Pretty please. Amanda says, import a bunch of dingoes. And says, I've got 10 degrees. How's Lake Road? It's 10 degrees where you are. And I don't know House Lake. Richard says, you can Google President Roosevelt's proclamation, I am an American Day, where Congress and Roosevelt acknowledged the sovereign citizen coming of age of consent in our self-governing republic. Sovereign citizen is oxymoron. How can you be a citizen, a corporate stooge and sovereign? It's oxymoron. Richard says, and you should be able to download a PDF from government printing office. Richard says, you can take the statutes at large and the congressional records and use it against these ass clowns called public servants. Remember that they're public servants and they serve the public. All right, well, look, man, I have been on quite a road to get to where I am today. And I went from complete idiot, total slave, to where I am today. So I have been through a lot, and one bit of advice that I want to impart to you here is document what they do. Keep the evidence. And then maybe there's a time and a place where you want to use that evidence. But these motherfuckers are all well. I don't want to make that blanket a statement. Most of these fucks violate their own statutes, acts, codes, rules, regulations, and ordinances. So catching them in crimes in their system is one of your best defenses against the system. Because in that fiction system, that administrative fuckery that has a reality, a very dangerous reality, through the process of discovery, exposing their crimes is not something that they want to let happen. So, by documenting their crimes, collecting the evidence of their crimes, and being strong enough and brave enough to stand and smart enough to not get slaughtered, my experience is you can back the motherfuckers down. You're not going to win. You're not going to get an award, but you can have some peace because you back them the fuck down, and then they can't face you. And this is a situation with all these motherfuckers. Sheriff Fat Fuckford cannot face me. His undersheriff Wagon Tails, Chief of Police, Kalkaska Chief of Police, Poovy Pants Popa, Judge Butt Day, County Prosecutor Ziggy, Court Clerk Hill, Postmaster Champagne. None of them can face me. The head of the DEA cannot face me. The head of the United States Patent and Trademark Office cannot face me. No fucking judge, no fucking British agent, none of these motherfuckers can face me. So what they want to do is they want to silence me. They want to destroy my life. They want me dead. They want me gone. But they can't face me. So that's because I've been a very good gumshoe. And so I have documented their crimes in their system. So at any rate, back to the chat. I got a feeling there's a lot more in this chat. Amanda says they sprayed the woods with Roundup Ready formula, Sunset Trail, and Blue Lake Southeast. Jesus. Lodi store changed hands, huh? I didn't know that. Richard says, yeah, the local tax, county tax collector and school system are defrauding the bond companies via the property tax. They're hypothetic, hypothecated the properties. Man says, I just ate some coffee grounds. Richard says screen print. Amanda says, no oven, just a hot plate. Damn, girl. Or David. I don't know who I'm talking to. I always wind up in jail. That's where you never want to be. You never want to be in jail. Amanda says, Grand Rapids pool rooms, crazy days. I don't know that I was ever in a pool room in Grand Rapids. Impeding travel, eh, Amanda? Oh, we're getting to the end. Richard says, I filed the SSA 521 form 10 years ago. Is to withdraw your signature. Amanda, love the old plow truck. Amanda, manhole covers and most iron used was from East Jordan Iron Works, made in Michigan. Now they're huge company, M32 US 131 North, just past the potato fields, Kitchen Farms. I drilled 10 closed system gas wells, then 10 years later serviced the compression units. And glad I found you live. Yeah, that's nice. Nice to have participation in a chat. And so I think I got that all covered. Says there's 3 people here, but I know I can't trust on that. I did my I finished up my extraction, and so I don't know what I got in here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I don't know. There might be the better part of 50 syringes in here. Each one 3 grams. And let's see how this is. Yeah, see, that stands straight up when I push it out of the syringe. It stands straight up and pull it back down. Oh, I moved. That's getting a little bit warm from the fire on the wood stove. I'll grab another one. Get it over here. You can see when I push it up, it'll come straight up, stands, and pull it back down. That's a good oil. It's not coming up and gushing over, all soft. No, that's a good oil. And so I got a pound, over a pound and a half of oil. And when I'm cleaning the pots, like I'm drawing it up into the syringes, right? And so on the end of the syringe, a certain part of it's in oil. So that'll get wiped onto a paper. And as I'm I get down to a certain point, you can't draw anymore. So I'll use papers and clean up the little bit that's left. And then sometimes, for the majority of it, about a pound, I have in one container. It's a little thing for like heating up chocolate, and it works perfect for the oil. So I can heat it up and draw up syringes anytime I want. But this way, it's mass batched. It's all mass batched. And even this here, it really is no different because I mass batched the solution. Every 5 gallons got cooked down to a half gallon, then charcoal filtered, and then each one of those got dumped into a 5-gallon bucket. So they were all mass batched. And then the majority of the oil all went into one container. But even the about 100 syringes I drew up, because I didn't have any more room in that container. That container holds about a pound. So I got a whole baggie here full of papers, full of oil papers. I'll get a little warmth on this so it'll open up. There's 2 papers. 2 papers for 2 oil joints. So when these are gone, I'll be using the syringe and putting oil on the papers. But for right now, I don't know. I got about 150 papers all already oiled up. Oh, we got some more comments in the live chat. Amanda, who I think is David, says, I was playing pool in Grand Rapids. I wonder who you know. I wonder what your age is. It was about 30 years ago when I was running around the pool halls. It says, don't use the stuff anymore. Nice render. Sweet. I'll send you a picture. Okay. I can see I got a couple of text messages. I'll take a look at those after I get done here. I got to put the links to Russell's Telegram channels and his YouTube channel in the comments of both the YouTube and the Rumble. Russell put out a meme earlier this year in the summertime. 3 snakes, Vatican, city, state of London, and District of the Columbia. And the Vatican and City of London had a tilde, but Washington, D.C. had a hyphen. And the head on the snake of District of Columbia, the eyes were bulging and the tongue was out, and it had this look on its face like it was taking it up the ass by surprise. By surprise. That's the look that was on the face, and it was a hyphen. Now, most people would have never picked that up. Most people would have never picked that up. But I did. And Russell had posted that on his channel where nobody else posts ever. And then Friday rolled around and the live chat came on, and I posted Russell's meme into the Postmaster's Basics and asked, should this hyphen be a tilde, or does this mean 1 down and 2 to go? And then 2 amazing things happened. I've been getting these Skycoms. Military's been communicating with me daily now for 2.5 years, over 2.5 years. I don't know what video it was. I might have been 10 or 11 or 12 that day. Here goes a jet leaving a trail until the jet is out of view. It's over the tree line and out of view. And all of the trail evaporates, dissipates, is gone, except the last little bit at the tree line. and the wind direction is this way. So at that point, whatever was coming out of the back of that jet as a trail was a composition that quickly dissipates, gone, just gone. And then, well, once it hit that tree line area, what came out of the back of that jet as a trail was something that would hold together and drift through the sky. So I'm watching this thing. I'm sitting on the porch. It's a beautiful day. I'm sitting on the porch, and here comes this trail. I'm watching it, and I call these drifts because they're drifting in. And sometimes they would drift into they might be dropped on cue, and then they would drift into a certain position on another cue. But every day is so different, and trying to figure out what the hell these guys are saying to me has been a challenge. But at any rate, Friday came, I questioned it. Of course, no response from anybody in the chat, none of the postmasters, nobody, nothing. And it's a straight trail. And then all of a sudden, at the end of it is a tilde. So I got my answer. I got my answer to my question. That meant the District of the Columbia is void. And then several months later, the fiction Trump brings in the National Guard. And DC is under military occupation. Now, remember, Russell entered into contract with the Navy in 2003. And since then, all military are under one command. So I can't, it's hard for me to believe that the other branches have not been debarred. I think that's a good way to say it. So, now we saw the Trump walking in front of the Queen, and then on a capitulation tour, and then a year or two later, walking in front of the King, right? I got to get more water. I'll be back. I got to get some water. All right, so Trump walking in front of the King, Trump doing the inspection to the military everywhere he goes, not the world leaders. Trump saluting the military, the world leader behind Trump. These are comms. So Russell gave us a comm that DC was void, and then it became visual 4 or 5 months later when the National Guard deployed. And then here this summer, I think it was, we saw Trump walking in front of King Charles. Well, Russell put a video out here a couple of weeks ago, or within the last 2 weeks, or somewhere in that time period. And I got to paraphrase, but the British have left, I want to say, the building. I don't know if that's quite what he said, but the British are gone, is what he's saying. The British are gone. That's in one of his recent YouTube videos. So, what you're hearing a lot of, out of Trump is military tribunals. Military tribunals. Q says military is the only way. Russell says the only thing that you are hearing is what the CIA and the military are allowing you to hear. So it it sure looks to me like there is an operation going on to clean out the demonic Babylonian global control system. And so it's interesting that one of the things that we are being allowed to hear is about aneutronic fusion. Aneutronic fusion. And in my opinion, one of the best guys to listen to on this is Ashton Forbes. And so this is a direct energy conversion. And so a transistor chip that will do direct energy conversion from the 0 point energy. So you charge you never have to plug your phone in, right? We're gonna have power stations, so free energy. Imagine what happens with free energy. Imagine what happens with creativity when we're done with the bar. So we can end tooth decay and oral disease by gaining control of our justice system. Now, cannabis is not the only way. However, it is probably the best thing to use for our current lifestyle, because if we were to eliminate carbohydrates, we wouldn't have tooth decay, but we consume carbohydrates. And with all the evaluations that I have done, or all the people who did their own evaluations, I told them, don't change anything other than adding in the mouth rinse. In other words, if you're a drinker, don't stop drinking. If you're a smoker, don't stop smoking. If you eat sweets like crazy, keep on eating sweets like crazy. Don't change anything that you do other than using the mouth rinse. And the mouth rinse works. So, also, once your endocannabinoid system is nourished, you cannot get high from marijuana, period. The only thing you'll get is a feeling, like a good feeling, or a relaxed feeling, or a deep thought feeling, or any number of feelings. The strain you're smoking, the mood you're in, your energy level, your sleep. Are you well rested? Are you tired? All these different, they'll all have an effect, but you will never, ever, ever get stoned or get high on marijuana once your endocannabinoid system is nourished. It can't happen. And people who are highly, highly sensitive. Their endocannabinoid system is absolutely, totally unnourished, depleted, and just the smallest little bit of oil can give them hallucinations or make them feel violently ill. Very, very serious. Those people can use the mouth rinse and have none of that. In fact, you follow the instructions, you do it the right way, and you'll have a beautiful night's sleep. And as time goes on, and they're nourishing their endocannabinoid system, the amount that they are able to take and have no ill effects is greater. So even the most sensitive people can use the mouth rinse. So this is for everybody. And like I said, once your endocannabinoid system is nourished, you can't get high. So as far as I'm concerned, it's for the kids too. To get high, you're going to have to find something else. If that's what you want, if you want to get high, you want to get stoned, you're going to have to find something else because it's not going to happen with marijuana. Let's see, what do we got here? They transferred the National Guard from Michigan to South Carolina 10 years ago so they could give out COVID shots to grandma. Through Billy says, "What's up, bro?" You can see what's up, bro. The military is watching everything, and they're watching me. I know they're watching me. And they knew that I was going to go live with this talk based on a little bit of messaging that I did. And so, purely by happenstance, I went over and opened the door to let some heat out, and I'm stretching, and like I talked about earlier, and here comes this jet down low and coming right over my head. And it's been very, 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 very quiet here with Skycoms, especially during the day. They've been primarily at night, and so to me, that was significant from the standpoint that I'm getting ready to go live, and they know it, and they gave me that. They gave me that communication. Through Billy says, "What's really going on?" What's really going on? That's what we all want to know. What's really going on? And so, hopefully, this video, this talk, is helping people with that. Amanda, who I think is David, says, "Laugh out loud. Just tonight, the local news said Epstein was in Grand Traverse court system, Interlochen Arts Academy. I bet he got his hand slapped and let go with a paycheck plan." It's all fucking bullshit. Nah, that's there's a lot of reality. There's a lot of criminal activity. There's a lot of reality, but from a legal lawful position, there's nothing there. From a legal lawful position, there's nothing there. In a physical reality, yeah, there's a major harvesting program going on. So, all right, everybody, I think that covers it. For those who participated in the live chat, I appreciate the action. and the questions and the comments. And so I think I'm going to call this one a wrap and take a break. So I wish you all good health, good oral health, good overall health. I wish you all the best for the holiday season and everything else outside of holiday season. All the best, and I'll be back. I will be back. All right, I'm out of here.